Hello, welcome to Tealy High. I am Gerald Asabat, Minister of Health and Social Development for Nunavut Government. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who showed up for the apology ceremony today. Your presence and support are deeply appreciated. I would also like to acknowledge Anyakak Diane Gear, Ordinary Member George Gear, as well as President Lamb. Special welcome to Premier Dr. Andrew Fiore to Postville. We are grateful for his presence and his willingness to deliver the apology. Special thanks to the residential school survivors for being here. Lastly, thank you to everyone involved in both governments for your help. It is important for all of us to be here today. I now invite Elder Riscowdy to come up to light the Hoodlick and say a prayer.
Sorry about that. I was supposed to bring matches. I hadn't got better matches than no-name matches at home. Here we go, we got the lamp lighted. Shall we hit as we go to prayer? Heavenly Father, thank you this day for Premier Fury, the Nunavut government, and the team coming to Postville to give an apology to the residential students. We pray you will help with any hurt and trauma that has followed students of residential students. thank you for forgiveness. Be with our families and friends along the coast as this apology, as they hear this apology. Give them peace. Be with Premier and the team as they travel this week and speak to hearts that need this and need to heal. We ask this in your name. Amen. And now I'd like for us all to say this together. As children, we grew up, our moms and dads learned us the Lord's Prayer, the Ten Commandments, the Beatitude, and the Bible stories. Thank God for that. It seemed like when we said the Lord's Prayer many times, it was always with a group, as a family, in church, in school, in community meetings, wherever. And I'd like for us here today to all say it together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gowdy, for the beautiful prayers and the lighting of the hood. I now welcome Dr. Premier Andrew Fury to
Thank you. I respectfully thank you all for coming together today for this important occasion. Extend my deepest gratitude to residential school survivors, their families, and their loved ones, and special guests who have assembled with us today. I'm of course pleased to be joined by the President of Nunatsiavut, Johannes Lamp, Minister Gerald Asovic, Ordinary Member George Gear, Angatuk, Diane Gear. Thank you for coming. I wish to acknowledge the support of the Nunatsiavut government, with communities, and the officials who provided assistance and support as we engaged to deliver this important apology. Let me say from the outset that the treatment of Inuit in residential schools represents a tragic and sad chapter in the history of Newfoundland and Labrador. While we have a duty to acknowledge the past, we must also reflect upon the hardships faced by Inuit children and solemnly pledge to ensure that these historic events are never forgotten nor repeated. The Moravian Mission and the International Grenfell Association established schools with dormitories for Indigenous children. And their stated purpose was to educate Indigenous children throughout Labrador, including those from Hebron, Hopedale, Makovic, Nain, Nutak, Postville, and Regalet. There is no disputing that Inuit children in these schools were physically and emotionally separated from their communities and from their families. As time passed, there was a weakening of their knowledge of their language, culture, and traditions. Loved ones, parents and siblings left behind at home also keenly felt this separation and this loss. For some, this loss was severe. Many students were neglected. Others have recounted experiences of physical and sexual abuse. However, all the students shared the loss of their language, attachment to family, community, and culture. As these children became older, some returned home to families and communities they used to know, and it wasn't easy. It was especially difficult for students who carried the incredible weight of traumatic experiences: grief, violence, abuse, social and family dislocations, and mental and physical health issues. The benefit of hindsight tells us that the practices, cultures, and traditions learned at an early age and developed through the formative years became eroded by a system that may have had good intentions, but make no mistake, was wrong. There were attempts to make amends for what had happened. On September 28, 2016, the Supreme Court of Newfoundland and Labrador approved a settlement for survivors of residential schools. There was a financial settlement to compensate students who attended the residential schools in Newfoundland and Labrador. This came from the courageous actions of former Inuit students who, despite the pain, chose to speak up and openly about their experiences. The process of negotiating a settlement did not happen overnight. As time passed, so too did some students. They were not able to hear an apology, nor receive compensation. However, we remember them for their strength and for their courage. They will not be forgotten. So today, with a heavy heart, I respectfully and humbly offer an apology to Inuit students of residential schools in Newfoundland and Labrador. As Premier, and on behalf of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, I extend this apology to the students for all that you experienced while in residential schools, and to all Labrador Inuit. We are sorry. Piyongyok. We are sorry that the government of Newfoundland and Labrador allowed this to happen and did not step in to protect the children who needed protecting the most. We turned a blind eye and neglected our responsibility and duty as a government. It is unacceptable that survivors experienced neglect, abuse, hardship, and discrimination at the hands of people and institutions who were entrusted to provide care and nurturing. There was a failure to treat Inuit children and their families with equality and with respect. There was no regard for culture and traditions. Spiritual beliefs, Inuit were considered inferior. So much has been lost. The work of reclaiming and revitalizing the language, culture, traditions, and traditional skills that would have come naturally from family and elders during those formative years is truly, truly difficult. As Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stated, saying sorry is not enough. It cannot turn back the clock. It cannot undo the harm. The tragedy of enduring separation from families and communities is something that you live with every day. I do not want my words to suggest that an apology relieves the weight of this pain and suffering. However, it is my hope that in coming to Postville and expressing with complete sincerity that I am sorry supports you in your healing journey. I admire your strength. I admire your resilience. It is my belief and the belief of the government that I lead that we have to truly understand the history of residential schools if we ever hope to advance reconciliation with Labrador Inuit. We must also acknowledge the ongoing challenges faced by Inuit when interacting with programs and services such as child welfare, health, and justice. I am here today to give you my unwavering commitment and the commitment of my government that we will continue to work hand in hand, government to government, to advance the priorities of Labrador Inuit. Only by coming to terms with the past and apologizing for our failures can we forge a path towards reshaping a future for our children and our grandchildren. Reconciliation is indeed a difficult process. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes sincerity. Today is an important step in rebuilding our relationship, one that must be founded on respect, cooperation, partnership, and above all, trust. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come to Postville today to say, I am sorry on behalf of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. Nakumek.
Thank you very much, Premier Fury. Now I invite Elder Mr. Roy Pilgrim to come forward to accept the apology, please.
Well, when I looked through this was handed to me, and when I looked through it, I thought, you know, what I learned one time was, I'm no good at big words, but they always told me, one, to skip a few and read. Anyway, we accepted the apology from Premier Andrew Fury on behalf of the Newfoundland and Labrador government for the treatment we, as Labrador Inuit, received in residential schools. We appreciate the knowledge of this and the sad chapter in our history as children were separated from our families and communities, leading to a loss of connection with our language, culture, and traditions. Some students were neglected, while others suffered mental, physical, and sexual abuse. We have waited many years for this apology. We accept it because we want the pain and hurting to go away so that we can try to continue to move on. This is a moment of recognition and truth. The Premier admitted the government of Newfoundland and Labrador our role in the residential school system saying, we are sorry that the government of Newfoundland and Labrador allowed this to happen and did not step in to protect the children that needed to be protected. We turned a blind eye and neglected our responsibility and duty as a government. We agree that this is unacceptable for survivors who have experienced neglect, abuse, hardship, discrimination at the hands of those who were supposed to care for them. Indian children and their families were not treated with respect. Our culture, traditions, spiritual beliefs, and language were disregarded and deemed inferior. Many were beaten just for speaking Inuktitut. We have endured sufficient losses. It will be difficult to recover our language, culture, and traditions that we would have naturally learned from our families and elders during our childhood years, but we can make our best efforts to do so. Our people have demonstrated overwhelming courage, strength, and overcoming numerous barriers and challenges. Healing is a journey, and it is never too late to start. It is important that the residential school survivors continue to promote their healing and wellness for the betterment of our families and our community. We accept this apology on behalf of those who forgive and pledge to ensure that these tragic events are never forgotten or repeated. Dated at Postville, Newfoundland and Labrador, on November the 1st, 2023.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pilgrim, for accepting the apology. Before our next music event starts, if you're able and willing, out of respect for past survivors who have passed on, would you please stand for a moment of silence? Thank you very much. I now invite a musical group to come up and sing a few songs for us, please. Please welcome Paul Mitchell, John Rose, and Jalen Mowich.
Hey, my name's Paul Mitchell. This is my friend Johnny Rose. We were asked to play Labrador songs, as in plural, but there's only one song I can think of that is, kind of fitting to play today. I want to sing in two languages, in English and in our mother tongue. I'm pretty sure everyone knows it. It's called Labrador Mute. So, whichever version you're comfortable singing, if you like to sing along, you can join right in.
Isa hatsi agonai pona kawe mahonali nuni ani lepte domanda e no vege mo mai so vege mo vege anya vege Akaswage mo te otte mo te o
Thank you very much, Paul and Johnny. Beautiful song. And good thing you didn't take CBC's cell phone. This concludes our events today. I thank you very much for coming out to celebrate or acknowledge this very important day on behalf of the government in Newfoundland, Labrador, Nunatsiavut government. We appreciate everything everybody's done. The big welcome here, and especially the survivors for being here and remembering why we are here. It's an important day to remember, and as I was coming in, there was another person saying how nice and fitting it is to see the children here, supporting our elders, our communities, and we have to remember that. So Nakamik, there are some finger foods. Thanks again. Take care.